All right. How you doing, honey?
Hey.
What's going on?
Ah.
Another day. What a great day, huh? Beautiful out there?
Beautiful out there.
Absolutely. All right, so right off the bat, I'm going to let everybody know out there that LI
Sharkman.
Yeah, Sharkman official. He had an issue tonight. He was upstate in his home, and they had major flooding up there. They just had torrential rainfall up there. So he called me. He apologized over and over again. He said maybe he can do it later tonight. I told him, listen, forget about it. We'll set it up again for another time.
Yeah.
But it took a little time. That's why I'm a little late tonight. I gave my good friend Matt, that's at Night Shift Fishing, a call. He'll be hosting the show tonight, and which is pretty cool. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
He'll be the guest.
You'll be the guest. Yeah, I said hosting. I'm
but
sorry.
you can
Matt.
host too.
Yeah, you can host too. Anytime you want, man. But
yeah, so nice of him.
yeah, so nice of him to come on. We'll be talking about the canal. What's going on there? Just prepare you guys for the canal. He'll give you some good advice on what to get there. If you're a beginner and you want to go up there first time, set you up with some good rods, reels. We talked about it earlier. So we'll be with Matt in just a little while. But before we get to that, first off, I'd like to say a big, big happy birthday to my friend Danny Morales.
Oh.
That's, Ro, you want to say it?
Danny D. Morales. What's
Yep.
his Instagram that everybody knows him as?
Come on, Brooklyn Surf Pier Fishing. I thought you
can't
knew.
remember.
Oh, man.
You
So
put me on the spot.
he's 94 today.
No.
He's the only one who wore my hat. And happy birthday to you, Danny. Glad you're here. I
Brooklyn
think he's
Surf
a
Pier
young
Fishing.
37 today. He's a young man, Danny. He's still on target to make 4 or 5 babies, you know? Danny, happy birthday, brother. All right, so other than that, I also want to talk about the challenge. Let me lower the music for this one, but I want to talk about the challenge. And the challenge is coming up on Saturday. Few things, guys. If you want your parking permit, you can now get it online. So they're not going to offer me the passes, and I'm not going to be able to give them out. But you will be able to get them online right there. You don't have to print it. Just make sure it's on your phone, because the officers will be there that day. DEC will be there that day. Make sure you have all your freaking stuff. If you don't, I don't want this to be an embarrassment for me, too. I'm dealing with all you guys, and I consider all you guys excellent fishermen and guys that follow the rules and regulations. So we're going to have the food that's going to be there this week, burgers and hot dogs. My specialty, the beans. Yeah, I'm guys, I just got to tell you, I'm very tired.
Oh.
I usually don't wake up around now. I usually get another 2 hours sleep because we worked very hard last night at the job.
Now you're back to work.
And now I'm back to work. Yeah, I'm back to work. Got to pay the bills. And you got to do what the boss tells you, and that's that. And if you don't like, get out. So other than that, going back to work tonight, put in another hard night's work. But I did sleep a good amount today, which I'm very happy of, because you need your sleep when you're a night shift fisherman like me. Not night shift fishing of Matt. That's a different night shift fishing. That's the cool kind of night shift fishing. All right, so let's keep going. What else did I want to talk about? There was the challenge, and what else we were going to say?
Oh, and as far as where to get that link, if you go to the Eventbrite site,
Right.
the link is in the description box. On there at the details, after the rules at the bottom there's the web link where you could see how to get that parking pass,
Right.
that day pass for the pier.
Yep.
So
it's going to be a good time. First prize, $1,500. Second prize is $750. Third prize is $250. You can bring anybody under the age of 18, gets a join for free. That's under the age of 18. 18 and over is the adults.
with the registered parent, right?
With a registered parent, absolutely. Also know that you're going to be only using one fishing rods. Any ties with the fish, if you got the same, you're splitting it, and that's that. There's no flip of the draw. Now, Also, to today's winner, we're going to be going. Oh my goodness.
What happened?
Brain fart, bean fart. Okay, so today we're gonna have the Bill Wetzel giveaway. I know Bill put it up on Surf Rats Ball to the members who are here. Hey, how you doing? What's up? Welcome to the show. We are going to be giving away that trip with Bill Wetzel, a guided trip at the end of the show. If you did not register for it, go to the Instagram account. It's in my profile. It's the pinned comment. You can't miss it. The top
And
left.
it's also linked in the description of this video.
And it's also linked in the description of this video. Thank you very much. So, what else? Yeah. So with that Bill Wetzel, if you win that, right, you can't go selling it to somebody. If you can't use it, you got to let me know. Because I'm going to let Bill Wetzel know this guy won. Right. If another guy calls up and goes, hello, this is Jackie Chang. Yeah, I'm here for Bill Wetzel guide trip. Yeah. Yeah, who is this? Hello, Bill? Hey! Click. All right, listen. Just, you guys know the rules, all right? I know you guys are all fishermen. If you win that, I definitely would say to be there.
It's not like transferable.
Yeah, it's not transferable. It only gets transferred to me. That's it. It says, happy Sunday to the king and queen of the seven seas. God bless. Total Noob Fishing.
Total Noob Fishing.
I know who Total Noob Fishing is. I like him.
He's a funny
good guy. Good guy. All right. Who else do we got? What else do I got to say before we start the show with Matt?
The challenge.
Let's just say hello to a few people here. I didn't even put my sunglasses on. I went to go put them on. My reading glasses are already on.
Yeah,
that's why I was seeing everything so clear.
There you go.
Joy McCoy, what's up, buddy? Oscar Valdez, Striper Fishing Adventures. Oski, the prize is still right next to me. This week it will be wrapped up and will be sent to you. Last week's winner was Oski. Awesome prize that he won. Let me keep going here. Willie J. Willie, I got both of the packages. Are they here, honey, the packages?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be opening those up right now, right before we get to Matt. Willie J, I'm going to be opening up that package. And we got also another package from the Jersey fisherman himself, Luke. So let's do Matt's first. This is, let's do William's first. Willie J. All right, you got a scissor, honey? I don't have anything here. These guys put them in bulletproof packs here. No, it's great. You need bulletproof packs these days, trust me. You need the bulletproof pack, you know? It's very good for you.
Hey, right. Kevin R. Kevin R saying hello.
Kevin R, what's up? I hope you guys are all done ski for that. All right, so.
Stay Bent Fishing saying when he clicks on the link, it doesn't load the application. Shows an exclamation point. Oh, boy. I don't know. Maybe somebody can help him out. He's trying to do that parking day.
Okay, hold on. I just opened the package here.
Oh.
And the package says Lights Outlaws. This is nice. It's like a little glider here. Beautiful stuff. Gotta love it. It's a 2-ounce. Check it out. These are giveaways for the shows. This guy, Lights Outlaws. This is Derek. Derek, I love you, buddy. You make good stuff. Very nice packaging. I like it. I like to see things with nice packaging. Also, same thing here, a white, almost pearl-colored glider. Beautiful. Again, the ounce is not marked on the back of this one. Derek, you want to fire that person that's working for you who did not mark that down. I'm just kidding. Thank you for that. I appreciate these, Willie J. We'll be giving these out on a future date. Keep an eye out. Willie J, I don't know how to thank you. You're a good guy. This is coming straight from Willie J, and there's a little card in there. Let's see what the card says. Oh, boy. These kind of things get me excited. You know, Willie J could be like a billionaire on the side, and he sends us like a $1 million check, drop in the bucket. Okay, it says to Mr. P, and I'm going to open it. My God, for a second, I thought it was a check. If you could see those round things going around, I was like, Willie.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Hey, Mr. P, just a little thank you for all you do for our fishing community. Hopefully we can see you come up to the ditch this year. Come share a time with myself, Oski, and the crew. Tight lines, Willie J.
Oh,
Willie, oh man.
very nice.
I'm going to cry, Willie. Willie, thank you again.
Mr.
Lights
Painsbury.
Outlaws. Please, Lights Outlaws. Derek, he works very hard at this. He really does. He's been doing this for 10 years. He knows what he's doing.
Nice.
10 plus years, trust me. Thank you, Willie J. And put these back in the bag so I know they're from you. When it comes time for the giveaway, I can say, I know you'll be here for that. And that little letter goes in here, too. Thank you so much for that. Much appreciated. Let's get to the last package, which I got from Luke. Now, I know Luke said, keep that one for yourself. I hate keeping things when people send them to me. I really do.
Oh.
I buy my own stuff, don't I, honey?
Yeah.
And what do you say to me? Why don't you use the stuff they send you? Use the stuff they send you. Wow, look at this package I got from Luke here. Oh, my goodness. Guys, you got to see this. Music, please.
Uh-oh.
The Rustic Lure Shack. I'm covering the price. It's $135. I'm covering the one. No, I'm just kidding. It says individually hand-turned VMC Mustang hooks. Cedar redwood body. Oil sealed for water resistance. Ooh, I like that. Stainless steel through wire construction. Custom individually hand-tied bucktails. Tough epoxy clear coat. Special orders are available upon request. Let's go, baby. That's the Rustic Lure Shack. Check it out. Nice picture of a striper going to hit it. Check it out. Think I'm kidding? Good stuff. Like it. So in this package right here, we got a little metal lip. I'm going to put it at around 2 ounces. I like these metal lips. They all swim so great. Here we go again. The Rustic Lure Shack once again. I'm not going to read the back. We already read it once. You know what, honey? I got to say, Luke, thank you so much, man. Thank you.
So nice.
Yeah, so nice. So we got a bottleneck here. I don't know the ounces on here. I don't see it anywhere. But again, I'm going to figure 2+ ounces on this treble hooks. That's the short shank, it looks like to me. Nice little tail on the end. Well, it's not just the wood in the inside of these. It's got a nice little swivel, which it hits against the metal. Just good stuff. Good quality lures. And for $30, that's a steal. I'm not selling it, but you're gonna get this. Also, we got, look at this beautiful, beautiful lure he sent me. Now this one looks like a used one, but still, no, it's not used. I'm kidding. No, it might be. It is used, but that's okay. It's used a couple of times, yeah, it told me. You have areas where you can set the hooks. It's a metal lip. It's a jointed one, as you can see. It's good stuff with a nice little tail or flag, whatever you prefer to count it. This is a 2.32 ounce beauty, man. Thank you, Luke. But wait, the surprise is only beginning. This guy, I got to tell you, I had a chance to have him on my show. I had forgotten, and I felt so bad I called him up. He's been kind of busy now. He can't right now. He's told me later on. But check him out. You got to check this guy out. Allen's Customs. He makes beautiful, beautiful stuff. This is a little Wonder Bread guy here, 2 ounce. I think I'm going to be keeping this one unless all you guys bitch tonight and tell me you're going to unsubscribe. I'll probably give it away. But anyhow, thank you for that to Luke. Luke, I don't know what to say. This is a really nice package here. And just going to make sure that Danny doesn't win anything tonight because it's his birthday and he won almost a $2,000 prize at Christmas, and that's going to last for like 10 years. So, okay, enough said. We've said a lot, and it's already 7:30. 7:30, and this got to be the latest.
Oh.
But I got a lot of questions to ask this guy. He's a badass fisherman. I'm sorry to curse, but truths are fact. He knows the canal very well. When I went up there 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been up there last year. I got hurt. I'm all healed right now. I'm back at work. No more surgeries. Let's go, let's go. I'm going full force.
Yay.
Be out there fishing next week, a few days. Got a lot of work to do for the challenge. Guys, you got to show up for the Piedmont Challenge. We got Bruce Bain coming down with the boys from Rhode Island. It's going to be a great, great time. It's going to be super food. You know me with the food. Come on. You ain't getting a Frankfurter that tastes like a shriveled up worm that you had in the refrigerator for 6 years. Let's go.
Shriveled up worm.
Come on. All right, here we go. Woo, the man of the hour. We'll make sure he gets his hour. Matt from Nights at Fishing. Welcome to the show, Matt.
There he is.
There he is.
This is P.
Hey.
Okay.
What's going on?
What's going on, Matty?
Just getting ready for a fun year. You know, it's just
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can hear by all the applause out there in the canal area right now.
Woohoo.
That's right. Matt, how you doing, buddy? Every time I hear the story of the stripers in the canal where the Indians are only allowed to hunt the... You could
herring.
say. There you go. Thank you, Matt.
The hurry.
It's my mind, Matt, and I'm allowed to do that because I'm almost 97 years old right now. And this is how it goes in life when you get older and you're drinking the pineapple extra strength water, you know?
some good stuff.
Very good. But anyway, going back, every time herring is mentioned, I always remember that story with the herring where you guys have the ladders and how Indians that are born in this country are allowed to, are the only ones basically allowed to hunt the herring, and how the stripers are all out there and they're waiting for the herring to come back down and blah, blah, blah. Just good stuff. Matt, what's been going on at the canal? I missed last year, but tell me a little bit about last year's season and what are you expecting this year?
Sure. So this year, it hasn't really started yet. And if it has, I don't know about it, but I was there today. But last year it was a pretty great year, I'll say. It wasn't the heyday of the mid 2010s, but it was a really productive year. It started early. The fish were there in April, and there were slot and over slot size fish in May, and it continued right through the season. In fact, I was talking to a buddy of mine, Joe, today about this. And, thinking back, there was really only one stretch of about a week where we remember it being really quiet. And that was right before 4th of July. And 4th of July and then going forward really just blew the doors off.
Right.
And it stayed rolling right until late November. There were people catching striped bass. I thought it was going to be the year I was going to catch a canal December bass, but it didn't happen. That's okay. There's always this year. So we'll see what happens.
That's it, Matt. That's all we can do is that we can just hope a lot of times, but it's not a lot of times. We always hope we're going to catch a fish, but like you've said to me many times, and the canal is very important. The tides, the moons, the currents are number one. I always believe in. I've never seen currents like that other than where I live, and that's at the Hellgate. And I think that's a secret spot of fishing that many won't fish because it's difficult fishing, just as the canal. It's not easy fishing, man. Being on those rocks and balancing yourself sometimes in a 2-foot diameter range that you have, that you've decided to make it your personal property for your fishing because you feel comfortable there. It isn't easy.
That's true. A lot of people, the canal, I think, sometimes gets a bad rap. People think, or they'll say it's easy to fish, it's easy to catch fish at the canal.
Right.
I would counter that, and I would say it's easier to catch big fish at the canal because you have more opportunity, because it's a 30-foot deep channel that you can cast to from the side. Whereas those opportunities really don't exist a lot of other places. Some do, and you've had guests on that talk about down there in the city where you have the ability to cast into current, cast into holes. But the canal is a 7-mile stretch, and it's easy, right? There are a lot of parking areas the Army Corps of Engineers provides. There are maps of where to go. There's a paved access road along both sides. Where it gets tricky are those riprap, the rocks that stabilize the banks on each side. and it's tricky. You know, you need
Yeah.
corkers.
Yeah, I have to interrupt you because you mentioned there's maps of the engineer cores, but I heard, Matt, and I mean, you know, these could be just rumors, Matt, but I heard that you took that map and you pinned all the wrong spots, Matt. Is that true? And this is what you handed me last time? Is this true, Matt?
Hey, if I recall, I took you to a spot and I said, we're going to catch fish, and you caught fish.
You're damn right,
I was
Matt.
very nervous about that. I was very nervous.
No, you never have to be nervous, Matt. A good fisherman isn't going to put everybody on the fish every time, and it isn't his fault. But, you know, you are a little extra touch, and we moved. You were like, come on, let's try here, let's see. And when we finally got to the spot, I got my first canal fish. You were there that day. You made it nice. And you took, if you remember, that first fish I caught, you took such an excellent picture. I mean, you know, these iPhones can make people look like, hey, man, have you been shooting all your life? Have you been doing this? No. It's just like, but you did do a very nice job. I got some nice pictures. I had a great weekend with you. I don't want to talk about that and go on that. I still want to talk to you. And what I want to get to is, so there's a lot of guys listening right now. For the guys that are listening that have not subscribed, come on, what are you waiting for? Get over there and press the subscribe button. Let's get this over with, all right? Please, join my channel. It's $3 a month. You become a member. Now I'm starting to make videos again. I'm out there fishing, and you're going to get to see those videos first, period. All you guys that are subscribed to my channel. And you'll receive a check worth $100,000, everybody who's subscribed to my channel, every single month.
What?
No, I'm just kidding. Don't you dare use that in a court of law against me. It's a joke. All right. All right. So, wait, what was I saying now?
Everybody?
Yeah, at the canal. So basically, Matt, what I want to really talk about and get into is for the people that I just mentioned are listening, that are new to the channel, or even beginners. Yeah, Googans. They still call me a Googan today. It's okay. I love it. It's who I am. I'm a Googan. Anyway, so basically what I want to say is Matt is going to teach you guys a little today. Not teach you, but just give you some knowledge. What you've got to have as far as gear showing up to the canal the first time. Now, I'm being honest now. Now, I saw people there with flip-flops on fishing from rocks. But I'm going to tell you right now, those guys are locals. They know what they're doing. You can make that rock as slippery as you want. You can put wax on the bottom of their feet. They're not going to slip. They're locals. They know what they're doing. Don't bother those people. Because anybody who's going on to rocks with flip-flops, anybody else who's going on to rocks with flip-flops, you're looking for death. I mean, you're going to get hurt. Anyhow, so Matt, I want to go back to you. And what would you need, Matt, as a starter fisherman coming over to the canal the first time? I want to talk about everything. Then let's start with the reels. What would you expect as far as what type of reel you want to be using? Or reels?
You're going to want something with a big retrieve per crank. I have a personal belief, and the folks like Oscar and Joe and Chemo and Rob and Chet that I fish with regularly have heard me say this, but I have a hard time going out and getting something that's really expensive, like a Stella or one of the Van Stalls, and taking that down and slamming it around on the rocks. So I personally prefer the Shimano Saragossa just because it has a big crank. It's a 14,000. It's a heavy reel. And frankly, if I destroy it and I go to the bait shop and buy another one, my wife isn't going to kill me. She only made a little noise across the room. It's going to be okay. I can get back to fishing. Because, on those rocks, it can be treacherous. It's not so much that it's rocks, but, there's a lot of them that are slick with the weed as the tide goes up and down. It has big swings, especially at the east end. I mean, it'll go up 8, 12 feet versus high and low. And so you're on a lot of wet and a lot of slimy rocks. But a lot of the rocks are the perfect size where they still move. And so that's when it gets real interesting. So, corkers are great, but even then, you really have to be careful. And the folks you saw with flip-flops, they are probably local and they know those rocks. I still think they're crazy, but they get away with it. So for a reel, the main thing is just a big retrieve per turn, and you want something with the drag power that's going to stop a fish, because at any given point, it could be a schoolie, but it could be that 40, 50-pound fish that's swimming through the canal or hunkered down there as the bait is coming in with the pushes of the tide from either Buzzards Bay or Cape Cod Bay on either side. And then you want to pair that with a rod that's going to give you a good casting distance. I like 11-foot rods, 10-6, and you want it to be able to hold the lures, right? And so for the jigging in those deep channels, you're throwing 4, 5, 6 ounces of lead with whether it's a bucktail or a lead head and a rubber body. So you want a rod that's going to be rated appropriately. I really like the ODM Jigster, and it's it's one of those things where you have the power and it's strong. I will say I did have to replace mine this past year because in 2 days I had 3 seal interactions, and one of them was dark and it got me off guard, and so the rod ended up getting torqued around, and I had to replace it, but it's okay. But you want something that's going to be strong and be able to handle those fish. So that's just kind of my personal opinion. But really, that's the work in the jigs.
Absolutely.
And then you want to be able to throw top water.
So hold on. Let's slow down. So basically we started off with the reels, and you mentioned the Saragossa. It's your favorite reel. You had mentioned that, this means, guys, for you guys that don't know, every time you crank it around, you get more line into your reel. Correct, Matt?
Right.
So basically, why is that, Matt? Why? Explain to them why that they have to, why do they need a reel like that? So they don't think when they go buy one and they say, no, I don't need that. I need this. Tell them, Matt, why?
Yeah, the current in the canal really kicks up. I mean, it moves. And even on a regular tide cycle, it's kicking a few knots. And then as you get a moon tide and you're sending all that water through, it's a man-made channel, right? So it's not natural. And so as it pumps through, it's like a highway of fish.
Right.
Well, it's a highway of water. And so you need to be able to overcome that as you're bringing in the reel. You want to keep that jig moving, or your pencil when you're working a pencil. And so when you have the reels that have that high ratio and you're bringing in a lot of line per crank, you're moving that jig through the water effectively. Otherwise, frankly, I mean, you're going to be sitting there and your arm is going to be tired if you're fishing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours at a go.
You know what? I like what you say, and it's a fact, especially with the tide and how it moves. Very important to have something that you can reel in. If you have something that's not going to reel in as quick, you'll see yourself working even harder to get it in, because your line is catching up to the next guys. And really over there, those guys know what they're doing. And if you cross them, you're going to hear a little bit of cranking his back to their right, though. Know what you're doing. Make sure you go in there with the proper gear. Now, as far as the poles, Matt, when you say in height, 10, 11, 12 feet, would you go above 12 feet? I know there's guys down there that go above it. But would you do it? And this is your preference now.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't. And the reason for that is, the slope of the rocks where you're fishing is, it can be pretty steep at times. And so they really don't like it. It's not a rule, but it's kind of an unwritten rule that you're not supposed to fish from the surface road, right, up top and the grass bank. Now, I'll be the first person to say that when I bait fish, that's exactly what I do. But I do it in a very coordinated manner. And that's the type of thing where you cast once, you put the pole in the holder, and you're standing there. You're not, slinging a jig or a plug constantly with treble hooks flying by all the little kids riding their bikes and the people walking their dogs and all of that. So, up there, you might be able to have a longer rod because you have all this space behind you. But as you get down on those rocks, 1, you're balancing on all these rocks, and 2, that bank behind you comes up kind of steep. And so there have been people, I've fished with people that, when you come back, you hit the rocks. I've hit them before. I've never had the unfortunate experience, but when you go to cast forward, if your jig is wrapped around a rock or your lure is wrapped around a rock, you're going to snap that rod in half. There are people that have done that. We've all heard it. When you hear that noise, it sounds like a shotgun went off right next to you. The rod explodes.
It does.
So,
it does.
That's really, for me, the reason why the length is so important. So I actually, it's kind of counterintuitive to a lot of people, but my jigging rod is an 11-foot rod, and my top water rod is a 10-6. And I like the 10-6 because I can get more of a whip cast, and when I go back, I have less rod behind me, so it's easier for me to cast. That's just a personal preference thing. You know, everyone has their own preferences, but that's what I like.
I got a thing with I like how you say everybody has their own preference, because here's another preference. First of all, Delco Joe, thank you for that donation. Joe, you've always been a fantastic guy at donating to my channel. My channel does not make any money, guys. It doesn't make any money. Please don't ask what I make yearly. If you consider that money yearly, hey, he's making money, you're out of your mind. I work my job, and I work as much overtime as I can get my hands on. So, no, I don't make any money. I depend on your donations. I do not care if you make $1 donation. I do not care. I like it. It's very good. It's positive. So I don't extract money from it. I wait for the challenge, and all that money will be used into my challenge to make the prizes greater. This is what I strive to do. I've been striving to do, and I also tell everybody out there, please help. Every little bit helps. And here we go. Striper Fishing Adventures, $20. Isn't that nice, honey?
Thank you.
It makes me want to cry, man. I'm not going to cry, though. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to do that online. But anyway, so basically, guys, I know you guys have been listening. Matt from
Delco Joe's comment.
Matt, hold on. Matt from Night Shift Fishing has been on, and he's been talking about retrieval and the current and having a good reel that can help you retrieve it back a little quicker. And Delco Joe said, and thank you for that donation, by the way, Joe. Go ahead, honey. You read the question.
Well, first of all, he says he can't wait till the canal fires up.
Yeah.
And then he goes, a fast reel also pulls you out of the strike zone, though sometimes even their slow is better.
What do you think about that, Matt? I want to fight. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Hey, like I said, everyone has their preference. Yeah. And when you're working a pencil on top, I absolutely want to go extremely slow. You try and cast far, work it as long as possible. The thing about the canal, and you kind of touched on it, is you're in tight. And so even though it's 7 miles, it's amazing that the 200 people that want to fish, we all want to fish in the exact same spot. And that's generally because, you know, that's where you want to be. Yeah. That's where there's a hole, or that's where people have caught fish recently, or something like that. And so one of the considerations is when you're casting, especially with the current, is if it's moving from, say, left to right, you cast up current at like a 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Your jig falls. By the time it gets to about 11, you've counted to maybe 8, 10, 12, depending on where you are. You're going to feel the bottom. And then you're basically just lifting the rod and bouncing it along the ground. So that's really your strike zone in the canal as you're going across, which is kind of counterintuitive. And I remember, Mr. P, when you were there, and I was kind of saying, hey, this is how we do it here. This is just the local thing.
Right.
And then as you get to about 132, you start with your traditional jigging where you pop it, bring it in, let it set, pop it, bring it in, let it set. But because people are in so close, a lot of times that time in the strike zone gets limited because people are casting up current and coming across, and there's so many people fishing. Now at night, and one of the reasons I like going there at 2 in the morning and fishing at night is because there aren't 200 people in the same spot, right? There's a couple spots you can move around. You know, it's easy to fish, and there aren't a lot of people around. And then, yes, I go very slow and work it in and try and get that whole push before it gets totally blown out and you're close into the rocks. And so it just has to do with the current. But again, personal preference. And in general, I agree with what Joe is saying. You want to be in the strike zone absolutely as much as possible.
Yeah, very nice. Very nicely said. You know, I'm sorry, guys, but I get very, very, very excited when I talk fishing, and it isn't just about Matt. I mean, can you imagine if I met a woman and she starts talking about fishing to me? Oh, my God. It's like double responseness, you know? It's like, oh, what do I do? I'm married. My goodness.
It's so crazy.
I'm terrible. But the truth is, he's talking about fishing. I can't wait now to get to the canal. Just talking to him for, here we are,
like
a few minutes.
salivating?
I'm salivating, honey. Remember how I used to salivate for sex? Remember those? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean that. Not online. Okay, let's say thank you to a few people. You want to go back up? Yeah, I'm going to get thrown off YouTube. Because I'm salivating.
Frank
go.
Salomon.
Yes, go. No. Go first up there. Stop. First, we were at Striper Fishing Adventures. Thank you for that $20 donation, brother. God bless you. Bronx Surfcaster, who is my, what did we call him, honey? The guy with the little tool next to his name?
Oh, he's a moderator as well.
He's my moderator. So if you say the word fuck, he's going to get rid of you, you know? Don't do that. Okay. Let's thank you so much, Mr. Bronx Surfcaster. Great guy. Spoof Crew and Beast River Fishing. Way to go. Frank Salomon gifted 5 Mr. Poseidon memberships. Wow. Wow.
you.
Willie J was gifted a membership by Frank Salomon. Jonathan McGrath was gifted a membership by Frank Salomon. John Kirianis was gifted a membership by Frank Salomon. Corey McIntyre was gifted a membership by Frank Salomon. And Bomsey was gifted a membership by Frank Salomon. Now, Frank has been on the show since the start. For those guys that don't know, I remember one of my early giveaways. I'd given away a Saltex, I think it was, and Frank had won it. And I remember Frank sitting there, and he wrote on it, he goes, I never win anything. It broke my heart. Remember, Ro?
Yeah.
It was, and you know what? Frank is such a terrific guy. I've met him in Montauk a few times, and listen to me. Frank is a very modest guy. He's very quiet. Bro, this guy fishes very hard. He knows his fishing. He's an excellent surf fisherman. He's always sending me reports from Montauk because he's always there. Frank grinds, and he knows his fishing. Thank you so much. Thank you, Frank. And to your fiance, I love you guys. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you. Bloodline Fishing Adventures. Brother, thank you so much for that donation. These things mean so much to me. It makes me, I say, you know what, I'm going to keep the channel going. Nothing here, nothing I make money on, even on the Poseidon Challenge on Saturday. Any extra money that comes in gets donated to the Piedmont Police Department. You'll see me. Every year I do a check with them and the police officers and the mayor there. Thank you so much. Antagonizer Laws. He'll be on the show in a few weeks. Antagonizer Laws. I'm not sure. He might even be on next week. I have to check the calendar. Thank you for that donation, buddy. Thank you. And Michael Mimo. I don't know. I don't have enough to say. I don't want you to do this anymore. You support us so much, Michael. God bless you. To everybody out there who's here every week, who's joined my channel, who's become a member, thank you so much. It means much to me, much. It really does. And guys like Matt, look, I gave Matt about basically a 15-minute notice. I told him, look, I'm not going to have the Long Island Sharkman on tonight. Unfortunately, he had an emergency up there. And he came on the show and goes, sure, Eric, I'll do it. And it's great. And here he is tonight. We're talking about the canal. And let's continue now on that subject. If you're going to fish the canal, Matt. So we talked about the pole. We talked about the reel. What about braided line versus mono? Go, tell me, Matt.
Sure. So bait fishing, when I'm just putting a weight out there with a chunk of mackerel, I'll use mono line. And I'll use like 100-pound fluoro leader with the hook on it for bait fishing. For jigging and for throwing pencils, I'm going to use braided line. I started last year using Fins, the brand. It was new. Aurelio from Left Eye Lures, who you've had on the show.
I love Aurelio.
Who makes the best pencils out there. He started working with them and introduced me to it. And I don't know if it was just like it was the perfect day and I had a tailwind when I was starting to throw this stuff, but I was convinced that I could throw that line further than I could throw the Power Pro that I was using. And so I became a believer and I switched, and now I use the Fins 65-pound braid. And I swear it goes further than the Power Pro did, but that might just be like, my personal thought. So I really like the braid. It helps with the casting.
Say that braid name again, just for everybody to hear, Matt. I'm going to post it on the bottom.
Yeah, it's called Fins, Fins. It's made in America, U.S. made product.
You got that, honey?
I really, really got a lot out of using it last year. And so I like it. I don't have anything bad to say about it. I used it for probably most of the summer and all of the fall run without issue.
Right.
And, I didn't re-spool that spool. So I'm going to go right back to using the same line. Usually I change it out a couple times in the year, and then in the winter, I'm just going to roll with it and see what happens in the spring. So I like it.
I love it, Matt. I love it. I love that you brought that up. 65-pound test on that, huh?
Yeah. So I'm a big guy, and I lob it out there. But a lot of things, I'm not perfect, and I'm always learning, and I make a lot of mistakes, even fishing. But I'm not going to have equipment fail. So that's why I believe in things like the jigster rod and the heavier pound test for the line. And I tie my own leaders. I use, big swivels and big clips. I'm not going to lose a fish because the gear was not rated for it. I'll lose a fish because I make a mistake.
Right.
Something else happens, but it's not going to be because I was undergunned. I'm going to have the means to be able to close the deal on the big fish.
Right on, Matt. I love to hear that, Matt. I mean, you know what, Matt? Not only are you a good fisherman, you're a very nice person, and so is your wife, Emily. We can go on forever with the chocolate chip cookie stories. I mean, probably the best in the world. Hopefully, when I get big enough, we can get some fish called fish tasting chocolate cookies or something to that effect, or we can boost them. Fish tasting chocolate cookies? I don't think so. That's not happening. But anyway, as other than that, your wife, great person, great cook, I know you've told me. And hopefully one day I'll get to try them once again, because I have tried them before, and they are very good. And we're going to have the lobster rolls first, and then we'll go for the cookies after that.
Those lobster rolls are good, but I am lucky. My wife is very supportive and understanding.
Yes.
Part of the reason I do the night fishing in early morning is so she can sleep in, and I'm out of her way. She can wake up, take it easy, and I'm just doing my job. I'm getting out of the way, so her life is easy. And
also,
but no, she is very supportive.
Yeah, thank you for that, Emily. We appreciate you. All the men do. I know they do, and in the way of being appreciative and allowing your man to go fishing just because you like to sleep a little extra. Anyhow, other than that, it's all good, Emily. I'm in the same boat with my wife. She loves to sleep, so when she hears I'm going to get up at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and go down to the river for fishing, she's like, no problem, you do what you want, because she knows when I leave that bed, there is no more movement. There is nothing. I am not there. It is total sleepness. No one was going to bother. But I also want to say thank you to Luke Fishing, New Jersey. Luke, if you were on earlier, you've noticed that I opened your package here online, and I don't know what to do about this lure, Luke. I know it's such a beautiful lure, but if I don't buy it with my own money, I want to give it to the boys out there. Oh. We'll see, though. We'll see. Because Luke's been very nice to me. He did say, I'm going to send it. Look at Willie J there. Willie J also, he sent me a package. I opened it on there. We'll be giving those lures away, which is the Lights Out Lures by Derek, who works very hard at his lures. 10 years in the building process. I know quite a few builders. Some of my favorites I sit on every day. If you could see through, and what do I mean by that? Take a look at my chair in the back, 401 plugs. I told them I would never wear that sweatshirt, so we hung it up behind both our chairs, and those will be there unless we have a bad falling out. I'll take them off tomorrow. No. But we're not going to have a bad falling out because Will is a wonderful guy, wonderful builder out of Rhode Island. Rhode Island's got some of the best plug builders out there. These guys, you know, it just happened that way that these guys work very hard at what they do out there. They love their surf fishing, and they take great pride in their surf fishing. All right, so now let's get back to Matt again. We talked about the braided line, 65-pound, and you use again the brand Finn, you said?
Fins.
So how do you spell that?
F-I-N-S.
There you go, F-I-N-S. He likes that line. It's a U.S. made product, correct, Matt?
Correct.
Yeah, so it's a U.S. made product, and I like that too. So because you mentioned it, I am going to try it, especially now when I come to that canal. Expect me there with 65-pound fin. If you break yours, and don't come asking me if I have extra, because I'm the one traveling to the canal. No, I'm kidding, Matt. Ask me anything you want. I will always be glad to help you. But I'm definitely going to try that braided line because of you. All right, so we're done with the braided line. We did the rod. We did the reel. Let's go over now. Do you use swivels, Matt? Do you attach them, or do you tie direct to your leader?
I use swivels. I use a barrel swivel,
Me too.
leader line, and a tactical angler clip. I tie probably 200. They're about 3 feet long. I tie them. I put them in individual little plastic baggies, and I do that over the winter. It's like a winter project. I tear my hands up. They get all torn up as I'm tying them. And that's kind of like my stash for the season. And then usually what I do is after I fish, however many liters I went through, I try and tie that many and refill the little plastic bags and keep my inventory up. And inevitably we'll get to like July and I'll be out fishing, and then it's beautiful, and then I come home and I have to do stuff in the garden, and I got to do something inside, and I don't end up tying more, so I go through my supply. And then we get to October and I'm tying more. But I use the barrel swivel. I pre-tie my leaders, and I use the clip, and I do that because for me, I'm not the best knot tyer in the world. I was a Boy Scout for a little while. I'm not a knot expert, so I want to get it all done in advance, and I can easily change out the leader and do the fisherman's knot with the braid right to the barrel swivel, and then be ready to go. And I use the tactical angler clip to change out lures, but I'm not going to stand out there on the jetty at the end of the canal or on the side of the canal when it's dark out at 3 a.m. and try and tie a leader because I broke off a jig on the bottom,
right,
or I got it nicked up or something like that. That's not for me. So pre-tie, and then I just carry a pouch of them.
Beautiful, Matt. I love that. I just want to stop for a second. We had, do you want to go down a little more?
Right here.
A little more? There you go. I mentioned Willie J. Thank you for that donation. I appreciate you, Willie, and thank you for the laws. Also, I want to say that I'm looking at this donation that came in, and I see the name, and I see the picture, and I'm like, oh, look at this hot chick. She's giving us a donation. Then I go, oops. And it says Matt's mom on the bottom. It says Janet Ann. Thank you, Janet Ann. I'm sorry, Matt. I didn't mean that as a bad thing. Janet Ann, thank you so much. That's Matt's mom. She gave a donation to the channel. It's good to see family support, and I love that the most. When people tell me, oh, Mr. P, I can't make it. I got this thing going on with the family. You don't know how happy that makes me. Family is always first. Without family, guys, it's tough. Life is tough to make it without family, because family is always going to be there when you're down. Always going to be there. I know my family is. My wife, she's always there. I'm telling you, every day. It's like, what are you bitching about today, Mr. P? I'm not bitching. I'm just down. All right, what are you bitching about? But anyway, I love my wife. I love people that believe in their families. And I know Matt, who he's definitely a family guy in his own little sector there, but also the family that backs him, that comes online, who has a wonderful mom that comes to watch him. What did you want to say, honey?
Oski says, tell Matt he has weak leaders.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Oscar.
Oh, Oski.
Yeah, we go back, and he ties his own leaders, and so it's a running joke that anytime one of us breaks off, we'll ask the other if they'd like a good leader for a change. And so that was pretty good. I did not see that coming. But,
good one, Oski.
I should say hi, Mom, and hi, Dad.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. And I do have to, the family support is really big. That is important. When I was a little kid, my parents took me fishing. And, even when my father was at work, my mother would take me fishing.
Nice.
And one of the things I do now all the time, I was out doing it today after I tried for fish on the Cape, which is still a little slow. I was looking for lures, trying to do a Matt's tackle rescue. And, my mother will remember we went to a trout pond when I was probably like 6 and found a whole bunch of lures. And it was really cool. And that was probably the start of it. But, my parents have been right there, and I still fish with them. They'll come down to the canal. My father fishes a lot. We'll bait fish. And so I'll fish at night and fish with the crew in the morning. And then my father comes down and we bait fish together. And it's pretty neat. So you got to take advantage of that stuff. It's important.
It truly is. I was down at Piedmont a few weeks ago. I saw a kid. His mom was there with him. It turned out to be the grandmother. And she was there with him, and she took him fishing, and he was there. He didn't have the right equipment, I thought. So I went out. I purchased him a rod, a reel. I brought him down the bloodworms. He wasn't fishing with bloodworms. And he was so happy. We did it on the video. Just a very nice kid. And it's nice to see the family get involved. So the dad wasn't around. The mom wasn't around. But the grandmother took him. And that kid was like, Grandma, I want to go fishing. Please take me. All right, we'll go fishing. But she took him. She took him. Just like my mom did with my father. My mom didn't really take me. But, man, did she push my father. I can hear her telling him, at night, you got to take him fishing. Got to take him fishing. That's because that's all I talked about, my mother. I was like, I want to go fishing. And at that time, you're not out of the house. You're a young kid. So Dad did take me fishing. He was not a sportsman, as you know. I've talked about this before. And what do I mean by that? He just didn't know how to fish. He was a spaz. Spaz, oh, boy. So we never caught a fish together. We didn't have the right equipment. We were using a boat pole. And if you're not good with your thumb, you got to be really good. You got to have that special touch, man. And if you don't have it, you're either going to tighten it up too much and not throw it anywhere, or let it go and think you're going somewhere. Meanwhile, you got a bird's nest. It's horrible. I went through hundreds of bird's nests with my dad with that same reel. No, it's good. We have to learn to fish. Yeah, all right, Dad. Come on. Hurry up already with it. 45 minutes per bird's nest times 1,000. Figure that one out. Of course, there was no time to catch any fish. But, Matt, let's keep going with the canal. I loved talking about the swivel. Go ahead, honey. My wife wants to say.
A couple questions from the guys that want to ask Matt. Danny D is asking, what pound test does he use? And,
so for the braid, it's 65, and for the leaders, it's usually 60. Because if I'm going to break off, I want to break the leader and not lose all the line.
Listen, Mr. 90. Listen to the show. I've been talking about this for the last 10 minutes. Braided
Mr.
line,
90.
fin, 65. Come on, Danny, get with it.
No.
You wore my hat. You figured some of that brain power would rub off to you. Erase the Guggen part of you. My goodness. But anyway.
Carl Newman is asking, what's Matt's go-to lure in the canal?
Yeah, that's what we're getting to next. But go ahead, answer that.
All right, that's a bit of a loaded question.
Sure, it is. Yeah.
I break it up into 3. In fact, I have a whole video about this. And if I could just take a slight tangent, there are a lot of people at the canal who are around here, and they don't like it when people that aren't from right around here show up and start fishing. And I'm like the polar opposite of that. I want everyone to come and fish on Cape Cod. Right, and go to Red Top, and go to Canal Bait and Tackle, and go to Mako's, and go to M&D. Those are really the local bait shops around the canal. Go there because we need those bait shops. We need to keep them going. We need to make sure they're in business. It's important to be able to go to those places.
Thank you for that, Joe.
I need to have a rod tip changed real quick. I could go to Canal Bait and Tackle. They do it. 10 minutes later, I'm going right back out there. So
beautiful.
And it's so easy to visit. But that's a whole other side thing. But part of that is, when you come, you want to make sure you have the right stuff. And so it's kind of the plug for the bait shops. But I kind of break up the lures into 3 categories. There's jigs for the bottom. There's the middle of the water column with swimmers, and then there's top water. And so for the jigs, There's a variety of different kind. My favorite ones to use are East End Lure Co., Boss Mac. A buddy of mine, Tyler, started making them, and I remember standing on the jetty with him late a couple seasons ago, and he said, "I'm going to make these jigs," and I said, "Yeah, you and 20 other guys that I've talked to that all said we're going to do this," but then he went and did it, and so a white East End Boss Mac jig, 5.5 ounces. That's my favorite. And then, seasonally as you go, there's certain times where I like to use the canal bait and tackle jigs or the Savage jigs, but the East End for the jig are really my favorite. For the middle of the water column, the large size sinking magic swimmer in a blue mackerel pattern is just what I have my best luck with. I don't know why. I really don't even remember when I bought the first one. I just had it, and I started using it, and it works. And for top water, at the canal, really, as long as it's white, that's the key. But I really will always come down to two. One is a basic pencil, flat bottom, 3.5 ounce left eye lure. That's usually the go-to. And then actually, when you came to visit, you gave me an Outcast. It was a yellow and white Outcast hybrid.
Yes.
And I started using it and realizing, gee, I can throw this thing even further.
Yeah, it's a bomb.
Than I can throw the other ones. And so I started using that one, and then I've really come to like the all-white version. And so the all-white Outcast hybrid pencil pop or hybrid popper in a 4 1/4, for whatever reason that's the number. But I really like those lures. So if I'm going out top water, I'm going to have the left eye lure, and I'm going to have the Outcast. And this kind of comes down to, if you don't usually fish the canal, making sure that you bring like a traditional pencil. And really that's it. It sounds funny, but it's a key. And there was one day, I want to say it was mid-July last year, and there's a couple folks on that were here that day. I think Chet and Johnny. Johnny came up, I think, from like Virginia or Maryland. He came a ways up. But we were fishing, and it was pretty good. There were a lot of fish, and if you had a white pencil, you were catching fish.
Nice.
And there was we were in an area where there's a lot of people, and there was a gentleman. His name was Byron. I didn't know it at the time. He was casting out, and so I had a pretty good sized fish on. Johnny and I actually got our fish wrapped up, and so we were landing them. We were both, getting the fish unhooked. And Byron was really nice. He helped us, and I ended up just cutting my line once we had the fish in, because it was going to be easier than trying to untangle everything. We'd be able to get the fish released quicker. And Byron was just standing there. He was basically a bystander, holding the rod, helping, and it just made it easy to get the fish back in the water. I just wanted to, get it going. And I started talking to him, and he was asking what lures we were using. And all he had, because he was from New York City, he drove up like that night, just split second decision he was going to go. He got there before the bait shops were open, and the only top water lure he had was a bottlenose or a Polaris popper, and that just wasn't working in the canal that day. And I said, well, I really appreciate all your help. And I pulled out of my bag this old, and I told him, I said, look, this looks terrible, but it looks terrible because I catch fish with it. It was a white left eye lure. Yeah. I gave it to him so he could use. I turned around, and I don't even know if it was a minute later. I walked back to my spot, and Chet says, hey, Matt, turn around and look at the fish that kid just caught with your lure. And it was incredible. And he didn't do anything different. It was just a different style lure. So the moral of the story is you really want to make sure you have that traditional pencil style white lure, and then have a backup, because you'll nick a line and it'll fly away or something will happen. You want to make sure you have a white pencil when you're at the canal.
Yeah, there you go. So guys, you heard that. I was going to ask him the next question, which we were getting to, which was the lures, and he just pretty much summed it up for you guys right there. But as you hear, the number one thing that he says right now is you got to carry a pencil at the canal, and it's got to be white. You don't have to, but he's suggesting that. And how many ounce at, Matt?
It's all what you're comfortable with, what your rod's weighted for. Whatever you
Right.
get the best distance with. I like, anywhere from 3 1/4 to 4 1/4.
This is really great, Matt. Again, I'm going to say thank you to you for coming on in the last minute's notice, but this has been great so far. As far as the canal, for anybody who wants to go up there, you just got a pretty much little knowledge handbook that you can keep in your back pocket on how to fish the canal. Honey, did you want to say something?
I think someone was asking too, when does it start? Like when does the season
When does the
really
action start over there, Matt? What's usually the month to start heading on down?
So if you're coming from a distance, the time to come is probably late May through, really through October is going to be good. Obviously, the moons, the full moons and the new moons are usually the best sequence around there. But in terms of really starting, at some point in April, the herring will show up, and there's a herring run right in the middle of the canal, and it is always the last herring run where the herring show up. I don't know why. I don't really understand it, because the ones on Cape Cod that are right down the street from where I live, the ones off Cape, they're loaded right now. You see osprey flying around with herring all over the place. We're not allowed to take them in Massachusetts, but you see the birds with them. But the herring run in the canal, I was there today. I was out off Cape fishing a couple spots with one of my buddies this morning. We ended up, basically finding a bunch of lures is what the day turned into.
Nice.
But on the way back, we both stopped by the canal, not planning to, but we ended up both stopping to do the same thing and looking, and the herring still aren't there yet. But at some point, the herring will show up to that run. And then the last couple years, it was like next weekend, kind of a few days plus or minus of that some schoolies started to show up. And then last year it was really odd. The bulk of the slot size and just over slot fish showed up in early May. The first weekend of May we were catching fish. Usually that's when people are starting to catch their first couple fish. If you're there a lot and you're fishing right around that area in the middle of the canal, you'll catch some early fish. I think last year Oski and I, it was kind of like the last week of April, we caught our first canal fish in there. But then in May, these bigger fish showed up, and we didn't know it at the time, kind of an omen. And it was a pattern that set up where we would have this incredible, first light, sunrise, top water action, and it would just move with the tide all the way down the canal. It seemed like it was just a regular thing. We would start at one end and just chase the fish all the way down the canal. And so that's when your bikes come in handy. We'd catch fish at one end and then go, a couple hundred yards. And then all of a sudden we're 2 bridges down from where we started.
Right.
And we're still, on top of these breaking fish. So it was a nice pattern. So really, I suspect that we'll hear of the first fish being caught at some point in the next few days in the canal.
Very nice. Like that. Nice detailed answer. If you don't get that, don't get into fishing. Maybe go bowling or something. Maybe you'll like that better.
Ocean State Bass Fishing was asking, can you ask Matt about the e-bikes him and the cool gang been riding?
So, yeah, the e-bikes are a new thing. We've all had bikes, and for a while, a couple of us had tricycles, which I really liked because we could put a cooler on it, and I could have my Gatorade, and I was just, could go for the day basically.
Sure.
But there was, it was one of those days, and it was a fall, not last year, but the year before, and we were at the power plant and got the phone call that the fish were going off at the Sagamore Bridge, which really is not that far. It's like a mile. But by the time we all got on our bikes and pedaled down and got there, it was over.
Yeah.
And we had one friend who had an e-bike, and he shot down there and he made it. And in my mind, that clinched it. I said, okay, I'm going out and I'm buying an electric bike. This isn't happening. It's kind of like the weight of the line. Like, I'm not going to lose a fish because the line wasn't strong enough.
Yeah.
I'm not going to miss a bite because I couldn't get there. So I went and got an e-bike, and over the course of the last year, we kind of our group that we all naturally fish together. It was like we all kind of went through that process. And there was one day, and I know Chet is on here. I was messaging with him earlier. I felt bad for him because we were on our bikes, and a couple of us, we were in kind of the switch over period. A couple of us had e-bikes and a couple of us didn't. And we must have gone probably like 7 miles that day. And he was pedaling and pedaling, kept up, but I think he had some leg cramps that took him into the next century.
Yeah.
And had to do some recuperation and recovery. And so when he showed up with the e-bike, he earned it.
Yeah,
but
right.
we all switched over, and it's the typical, you have a basket either on the front or the back. You have your rod holders on the back, and the whole idea is to be able to move around. And so just that pattern that I described of the way the fish moved last year, our group kind of got to this point where we all picked a central parking area. And like I said, the Army Corps prepares, and there's restroom facilities that are open, not at night, but from like 8 in the morning until 8 at night. There's parking areas that are, fairly well traveled, so you can feel comfortable leaving your car there. I wouldn't like leave my reels on my roof, but you can feel comfortable with your car there. But we'd park in a spot, and we'd all kind of cruise out and kind of move together. And then sometimes a couple people would break off, basically as like scouts, go see what was going on and call back.
Cool.
After they catch a couple fish, right? It's not like, hey, the fish are here and then catch fish. They got to catch them first. But the e-bikes do add a nice element to it.
We have
we got a good one
Bill
here.
Wetzel in the live chat. Hey, Bill. And Bill is asking, how many knots does the current hit there?
Thank you.
The current there, it probably, when it gets going, is up around 6 or 7. When it's moving. I would have to go back and look, to be honest with you. It's in my logbook. I keep track of it as we're fishing, what the speed is, but that number seems to ring a bell.
Okay.
Nice. Thanks, Bill, for coming to the show. Appreciate you. Matt, I also want to ask, so basically we talked about lures. I know you talked about Lefty. What was the lure you turned me on, the plastic, last year, which is pretty famous up there? That's caught me quite a few fish up there.
The East End Lure?
Yes.
You're talking about the jig?
Yes.
Yeah, the East End Lure Co. Those are made by a guy. His name's Tyler. He lived up here. He has multiple businesses. The lures are just one of his things that he does. And so he had to move a little further south just for the climate. But he still makes the lures. He comes up and fishes. It's always like, it's like the celebrity comes to town because he's the lure guy when he shows up. And he, when he was here, he was like the guy who he would be in his car all night, and he'd be fishing, and then he'd take a nap, and then he'd move. And, I'd show up at 2 a.m. thinking, there's a couple people that might be leaving for the night. And he's, 14 hours into his 36-hour fishing trip. And that's when he lived here.
That's right.
So when he comes from way out of town, he comes up and really gets into it.
All right. So basically right now, Matt, I have to say it's 8:24.
Wow.
Definitely extended the show with you on tonight.
Nice.
We pretty much got a very detailed tutorial on how to fish the canal for the beginners out there. Everybody's got their own way to fish wherever you go. But for the people that don't know, I think that was a nice tutorial on to get them on the canal and how to get them on some fish. Hopefully they'll get lucky enough. They'll meet you up there. They'll get even more information off you. But I can't wait to get down there. We do our yearly trips with my wife. She comes with me. And the canal this year will be added back on that list. Last year, a bunch of injuries and all that junk. I just could not make it. But we're going to slowly exit now. And before we exit, we're going to do that giveaway. Guys, I want to say before the giveaway, that's surfratsball.com. Please join that site. Some of the best Northeast fishermen are on that site. You can get great information, including Bill Wetzel's logs out in Montauk. Fishes out there practically almost every day. Just great information on that site. And also, if you're a part of that, you get to be involved in or incorporated into the Shindig, which is a coast-to-coast striper fishing competition. And again, some of the best fishermen in the country are on this site. So you will have competition out there, but it's all based on an honesty system. Bill doesn't take no bullshit, I'm sorry to say. You screw around in any way, you're out. You're joining a good site. I would suggest to many people, everybody, to join that site. I'm a part of it, and I'm a proud member of it. surfratsball.com. If you guys join, you will see what I'm talking about, the wealth of knowledge there is on that blogging site. Absolutely fabulous. So right now, we're going to get ready. We're going to do that giveaway. You get a guided trip with Bill Wetzel in Montauk. Just because you call him up and you ask him for a date doesn't mean you're going to get it. Okay, so the guy has got his major dates pretty much set. If you can get a date with him, that'd be great. Now remember, you can't take the win and transfer it to somebody else. Doesn't work like that. Like I said, you win it, you have to use it. If you don't, you let me know, it's going to go back up. Right? If you can let me know tonight, it'd be even better. But again, Matt, I know you're in it too. A lot of the Rhode Island guys are. Good luck to everybody. We're going to spin that, honey. Anything else you want to say? Go ahead.
I thought everybody had a comment on that Instagram post, and I was thinking that we could show that little
Go ahead, show
skit.
it.
Let me
we'll show that little skit of Bill Wetzel that I
did.
did.
Let me see here. If
Yeah,
I can do this.
my wife will put it up. It's pretty cool. It's pretty funny.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So we're doing here.
Yeah. It's going to be a great time. To the winner, you're going to get to go out with Bill Wetzel. And again, don't expect the guy to put you on a 40-pound bass. If you happen to catch one, good for you. But he's going to teach you about Montauk. He's going to teach you how to become a better surf fisherman in Montauk. It's going to tell you about the winds, the tides, where it is to fish better in certain instances. But when you go with him, make sure you got your corkers. Very important. If you show up without corkers, you're not going to go out with him. You need your corkers in Montauk, and get ready to do a lot of walking. You want to learn Montauk? This is the way you do it. You don't go to a spot and sit there for 10 hours. So get ready. Honey, you got it up?
I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see.
Let's see. I don't hear anything.
Hold on.
Okay. I think everybody's waiting for the wheel to spin. But other than that,
I know. I thought this would be so
is it going to work or what?
hysterical.
Okay, there we go. They can see that now?
Okay,
Yeah,
here.
they can see it. Check it out. The Wetzel is tough. He's always moving. Keep looking for the Wetzel. What the devil is going on there? That's Mr. Poseidon, head of the Guggen squad. Bill's in Montauk. Let's go. There I am on the bottom with a little fish. There he is. Get him. It's supposed to be a little A over there.
Oh, when it goes, hey.
Hey. There's Bill on the bottom. He's getting picked up now. We got Wetzel. Tell us, Wetzel. Tell us. Tell us. Where are the bleeping fish? Winner got a trip with Fish Bill Wetzel, New York State licensed fishing guide, Montauk's premier guide. Let's go, let's go. Okay, that's enough. I don't want to watch it anymore. I like it, though. I worked 4 hours on that thing to get it like that. It's not easy to make those little things, trust me.
Luke Fishing says, the music is killer. We need to blast that on the way down to fishing.
Absolutely, Luke. I'm with you on that, buddy. I'm going to fish with Luke in Jersey this year.
Okay, so we're going to run the thing.
Yeah, we're going to run the
boy.
thing. Good luck to
Here we
everybody.
go.
Wait. Yeah. Before you run it, hit the like button on this video. That's what really helps me a lot. The algorithm, it's all about the like button. All of you hit the like button at the same time, and the algorithm will go crazy. Anyway.
Here we go.
Let's go. Good luck.
5,
Here we
4,
go.
3, 2, 1.
Go. And the winner is... Oh, you say it, honey.
Eddie Bucktails.
Eddie Bucktails, otherly known as...
Oh, my God. Otherwise...
Edwin Wetzel. That's what we call him.
Funny
this is so funny. I know. He loves Bill. Let me tell you. I don't think he's been
Where
out
is he?
with him.
Is he on here or did he go home?
There he is. No way. You got it, Eddie. You win.
Eddie Bucktails. Oh my gosh.
Eddie
Otherwise known
Bucktails.
as Eddie Wetzel.
Eddie Wetzel. We call him Eddie Wetzel. We call him
Eddie the
Alberto Wetzel. What do we call him?
Eddie the Greek.
Yeah, Eddie the Greek. We call him. Oh man. So Ed, you know what to do. You call up Bill.
Oh my gosh.
See what dates he has available, and you win that. To Bill Wetzel, thanks for being out there tonight, buddy. I appreciate you. You've opened the doors for me for my surf fishing, social media. Thank you so much. Guys, everybody out there tonight, thank you so much. And let's go back to Matt really quick. Matt, thank you for coming to the show, to his whole family, to everybody who made donations. Thank you so much. Matt, anything else you want to say? Don't forget your wife, Matt.
I just want to say hi, Mom, hi, Dad. Thank you. Hi, Emily. Appreciate it. But I just, thank you, Mr. Pete, for what you do for the fishing community.
Thank you.
This is really cool. So we all appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, you're so welcome.
Thank you for coming.
You must have been the cutest kid, man. I can imagine Matt fishing with his mom, 10 years old. He's so nice now, right, honey?
I know.
And none of you out there take that as a rainbow thing or anything, all right? The rainbow used to mean a lot of good things. Now I look at it and I'm like, oh, God, I can't
You
even
don't
think
want to see a rainbow.
I don't even want to, can't even think.
Stop
The other
it.
day we had a beautiful rainbow. And I was like, buddy, take a picture with me. And he goes, hey, Mr. P, you really want a picture with a rainbow? And I scratched my head. I was like, you're right. What am I doing? You messed it up. The rainbow was cool at one time anyway.
So silly.
So silly. God bless everybody. You got it, Ocean State Bass Fishing. Thank you, Mr. P and Mrs. P. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the show. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the donations. It's how we keep it going here.
Keep the lights on.
Keep the lights on. Thank you to Matt of Night Shift Fishing. We're going to leave links on the bottom. You should join his channel. He's got nice videos, man.
Yes.
Him and the crew up there know what they're doing. These fishers with Vinny up there. Let me tell you something. Those guys know what they're doing. Thank you so much. Let's go. And
good night, everybody.
see you all next week. Here we go.